Hey guys, it's Spiderpig, and today we're going to do some flying with friends. What I'm going to show you right here is, this is called basically a VR garage where you kind of see things differently. And the guy who created this one, and many, many more, is HawkEye60, and we're going to go flying with him today. So I'm here with HawkEye60, and we're actually in here for the second time, so we'll have to ask the same questions. So Hawkeye, what's the significance of the name HawkEye60?
Well, Hawkeye is the nickname that I've used, I think since 1986, since I first started flying sims, actually probably more so in Jane's flight simulators. And the 60 is because I turned 60 this year and decided to celebrate.
Very nice. Did you have a big party?
Yeah, I'm riding in it.
Very nice, very nice. So how long have you been flying flight simulators?
I started with a Apple IIc and the original flight simulator back in, I think, 86 or so.
Very nice. You go ahead and turn on the Gazelle while we're in here. Let's see. Yeah, so my first experience with a flight simulator was in Boston when we just moved in. I think it was in 82 or 83, and it was at the Science Museum, and they had a lab full of Apple IIes. And it was I think it was just a normal flight simulator. I forget which one it was, but it was really fun to fly. Now, when did you start flying DCS?
Probably 5 or 6 years ago with a DVD copy of Black Shark, and been hooked ever since, really.
And of the modules available today, do you own all of them, or do you own just some of them?
Yeah, well, I own every single one, and I actually pre-bought the P-40.
Very nice. Which airplane would you say is your favorite currently?
We're sitting in it.
Well, yeah, this is a helicopter. Okay, so I understand. But of the planes, the non-helicopters, which would you say is your favorite?
I think I'd have to split between the A-10 and the P-51.
Very nice, very nice. I always find with the World War II planes, I have trouble taking off and landing with those things. Once we're in the air, we're okay, but just, I don't know, I can't seem to, get the landings and the takeoff with those things. I always seem to crash half the time.
Yeah, my first try at the P-51, I think it was 20 tries before I actually got in the air.
Yeah, and it's funny because everybody gives you different advice of what to do, and it's like you end up just finding something that works for you and sticking with it. So it's kind of nice. Now let me see here. Now, when did you? Obviously, you're a big VR guy. When did you get your Oculus Rift?
Well, that was part of my birthday present, along with the PC to run it. Didn't get it on my birthday, but a few months after.
Okay. And besides flight simulators, do you use the Oculus Rift for any other games that from the Oculus home store?
Yeah, I kind of like a few driving games. That's kind of fun. Mostly because I own an auto repair shop, and after a bad day, there's nothing more fun than coming home and crashing a few cars.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, have you tried any of the experiences? I know the Apollo 11 one was really good. I haven't tried any of the racing ones, the driving ones, but I definitely do want to try it sometime. I don't have a wheel, which I guess is the only problem with doing a racing game. But I definitely enjoy the Oculus Rift experience. I definitely like where it's going. I definitely see a lot of future for it within gaming and simulations. Have you heard of something called Leap Motion before?
Yeah, I have heard of it, but I understand it doesn't work well in DCS.
That's correct, yeah. So I'm wearing it right now. It's part of it. It doesn't do anything in DCS, but I think hopefully in the future, we'll be able to get it integrated in here. What it does is basically tracks your hands. So for games that do work with it, it's actually pretty cool. FSX actually has a plugin that works with it. I haven't tried it yet, but it's on my list of things to try out. So, but it's definitely, I think, a cool potential for the future until we get the Oculus Touch controllers at least.
Just for the information, you don't need a driving wheel for the driving games. You can use the Xbox controller, which is what I do, and it works fine.
Okay, I'll definitely have to give that a shot. See, my oldest daughter, she's 12 now, and what I was figuring on doing when she's 14 is converting my flight simulator pit into something of a car simulator and finding something that's not race related that will help her learn to drive. So before she gets in my car or my wife's car, she actually has some practical, driving experience.
Yeah, I agree. Start them young.
Yep. All right, so it looks like I'm looking at all the switches here. All right, ooh, very nice, very nice. Turn down the UV lighting. So besides VR, I noticed in your signature that you have a lot of accessories for your pit. Now, how long ago did you start building your pit for your flight simulator?
Well, that actually started on my birthday, and it's really thanks to this community that I was able to put this whole pit together and get it all working. So, I mean, without you guys, I wouldn't have what I have. So, really, thanks.
I agree. The community is definitely a big help in getting at least my pit. I'm actually on my third cockpit right now. Over the years, I've done different styles and things like that. The one I have right now is sort of really modular and really kind of easy to adapt to different things, helicopters and planes. But yeah, it's the community is definitely a big help, and learning everything from them is definitely a big help. Is the starter on? I don't hear the starter yet. So
yeah, we've been gabbing. I haven't started it up yet. Let me get going here.
Yeah, go ahead.
With my pit set up, once I'm in the pit and I have it set up right, I never touch the mouse again.
Well, I guess, yeah, because you use the voice activation, right?
Yeah, that along with I just know my pit so well, I have every single control I need mapped somewhere within reach.
Very nice. I find I actually end up building a new panel specifically for VR, and what I did was I kind of designed it so every button feels differently, so I can actually memorize every different button and kind of get a different feel for it. I initially intended kind of just to make it for combined arms, to be able to use some combined arms. So I basically am using a arcade joystick on the left side and 4 arcade buttons and then normal switches at the top. So I think I have about 12 switches. Now on the right side, which I think is really kind of cool, is I have basically like a telephone pad with the numbers, and I basically have 1 to 12 in there, so I can do the radio buttons from there. But the problem is every time DCS gets updated, it blows my settings, so I have to redo them. But I have everything close to my throttle, so I can actually, get to it when I need to it. But it was the first time I actually designed a panel specifically to be able to use within VR, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Now, according to your profile, it says you live in Massachusetts. Do you live anywhere near Boston?
About 20 minutes north.
Very nice. When we first moved to the U.S. In '82 until '88, we lived in Boston and Brookline actually, and I love the city there. And I don't get to go back very often, but I do love it going there. I actually learned to sail on the Charles River, which back in the day was actually the most polluted river in the United States. So my sailing skills are pretty good. So you say you don't fly multiplayer very often. Do you just not like multiplayer, or have you ever flown multiplayer in any other flight simulators?
A few years ago, but to be honest, I really don't know why. I've just been really into doing it single, and I have a feeling now with this Rift and after this flight, I'm gonna have another addiction to deal with.
Well, I find that the online community is a great place to learn, and that's really why I kind of got into online flying. When I was flying jets, it was a great place to learn how to fly from mostly pilots, and now I fly mostly helicopters, so I joined a helicopter squad, the Black Shark Den, and there's a couple helicopter pilots in there, and it's a really good learning tool because you get to fly with people who actually know what they're doing, and you get to learn kind of not only terminology but procedural things, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, it is a good learning experience.
Yeah, and it's always fun just to hang out with people, and interact with people. Like the 355, which I fly with, they have a squad night every Sunday night, sorry, and we fly a mission. So it's kind of just fun, go in there and just fly a mission with the guys. Everybody kind of some people fly the same aircraft like the A-10C. I'm usually the only guy flying the Gazelle. There's people flying K-50, so it's kind of a mishmash of aircraft, but everybody has a role and everybody flies, and it is a lot of fun, So, and it's a great learning way, and there's always a lot of good servers just to hop in and just talk to people.
Yeah, and there's nothing like going up against a human.
That is very true. If you like going up against human, the 104th is where you want to go. That server is always player versus player, and if you can survive on that server, you got your stuff together, because most people when they go in there die fairly often, but it's a good server. Now there's a whole bunch of other good servers. For the Gazelle, I found the F99.com server. They also have really good scripted missions there that are really enjoyable to fly, and there's always usually somebody flying the missions with you, so it's kind of a lot of fun. But if you don't want to kill anything, there's the virtual aerobatics server, which is really good, just to go in there and just practice your flying and just talk to people. Most of these servers have a TeamSpeak that you can connect to, like we are now, and you can just talk to them while you're flying, and that's a great place to learn.
Yeah, I think I'll go give that a shot. It sounds like fun.
Yep. Looks like we're still waiting for the alignment here. So back to Boston. Do you know what the annual budget is for cleaning the bird poop off of the Plymouth Rock?
Well, to be honest, I'm pretty sure I read that in the Boston Globe, but it doesn't come to memory.
All right, I didn't know either, but I figured it'd be a good question to ask, since And how many times have you been to Cheers at this point in your life?
Excuse me, say that again?
How many times have you been to the Cheers establishment?
To be honest, never.
Really? It's actually not that bad. I was there last time I was there. The original one, which is kind of a hole in the ground in the basement. It's pretty small, but ironically has 3 gift shops. But, it's pretty nice place. And the food is actually not bad.
Yeah, I like going to Fenway.
I've been to Fenway many times when I was there, and I definitely enjoyed it. Back then, the bleachers was like $4. So, me and my brother used to take the train in there, and we used to go see the games. It was definitely great fun, and I definitely miss it. I told my wife if we had to move anywhere, Boston would definitely be the city to go to.
Well, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed the VR menus. Some of them are actually a little bit of work to put together.
Yeah, the VR garages are pretty cool, and I do enjoy them, and I definitely want to do a video of them, just to kind of showcase all the different ones, because they're definitely amazing, and they're definitely a lot different than the original one, which I kind of always find very, very attractive.
Did you try Skate's carrier with the F-18?
Not yet, but I actually used to work with Skate back in my F-100D days, back when there was a VRC team. This was, I want to say, 3 or 4 years ago, and we were working on the F-100D, and Skate was one of the renderers for the project, but it never got off the ground, and we all disbanded. But yeah, I know Skate very well. He's a pretty cool guy.
It'd be interesting to learn all the pedigree backgrounds of all the guys who are in the forum and also in ED.
Oh yeah, definitely. So why don't you go ahead and take off and head towards the land. Now, also your profile said that you're into astronomy. Do you have a good telescope setup?
I own 4 telescopes.
Very nice. So what's your opinion about this whole Pluto thing? Is it a dwarf planet or an actual planet?
I think it's a dwarf planet.
All right, and just how much gas is on Uranus?
I don't think they've measured it yet.
All right. So, all right, let's go ahead.
I wouldn't ask my wife that question.
By the way, I put in the enforcer there on the right. If you want to try landing in the deck later, I did find out that if you actually go into the flight deck, there is no bottom to it, so you'll go right in the water. So the target area is right in front of us here. So if you want to find a good masking place and hover somewhere back here, I'll go ahead and start finding targets here. Let me center my view here.
I actually did try landing in the hangar and got about 3/4 of the way in before I jigged instead of jagging, and it didn't end well.
Yeah, we'll show afterwards. We'll go land there so other people can see it. All right. So if you want to mask yourself down here somewhere, and I will find some targets. So you said you're an auto mechanic. How long have you been an auto mechanic?
I've actually owned my own shop since '89.
Very nice, very nice. And what would you say is the most troublesome car to work on?
Volkswagen.
All right, that's good to know.
A cool thing. I came home with a headache because of a job I had today, which happened to be a 1988 Rolls-Royce Corniche convertible.
Nice. Do you always get fancy cars like that in there?
Yeah.
What's the most expensive car you've worked on?
72 Corniche convertible.
Wow, very nice.
Very nice. I think of only one of 3 left in the world. They think it may be worth $1 million.
And do you specialize in Rolls Royces, or they just happen to know you?
European cars in general.
Okay. And try not to get us killed on the way, you know.
Yeah. Getting a little frame rate issue there.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, which settings do you use with the when you use VR? Because I use the VR preset that they have. And I find it's kind of very helpful.
Yeah, I may try that. I probably have them cranked up a little bit too high.
That could be.
And it's tough to control if your frames aren't nice.
Yeah, tell you what. Once you actually land over there, and we'll switch, and I'll be the pilot, and you can be the commander here. We'll try to take out those targets there. Yeah, we're in VRS right now because I don't know if you know, but I have the Game Trex 908 chair, which is basically like a massage chair that vibrates with DCS. So it's really cool with helicopters because I can feel the VRS and transitions and stuff like that. It's actually really neat.
Yeah, that does sound like fun.
You got this. You got this.
Uh-oh.
We're going to go for a swim here in a sec. No, you got it. You got it.
Almost.
Nice recovery. So obviously we heard your dog earlier. Do you have, besides your dog, do you have any other pets?
Right now, just a Yorkie.
And obviously you mentioned on the forum that you're married. How about any kids?
One daughter.
Very nice. And does she follow in your footsteps and work on cars too?
Thankfully, no.
How about flight simulators? Does she like flight simulators?
I'm the only one, I'm afraid.
I hear you. I keep trying to get my daughters into it.
Tried to get my wife to fly, has no interest.
Yeah, it's tough. The wife likes the virtual reality. I mean, we have a couple games that she likes. She does the roller coasters, and we do the leap motion ones pretty nicely. But yeah, the kids like it too. But yeah, getting them to fly is a little tough. What I did was actually I recorded myself flying, and then I usually put on a replay and have them just sit there, and they kind of enjoy it, so they don't actually have to do the flying part. They can just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, start them young, that's what I say.
Yep.
Not my best landing.
We can walk away from them. That's the important part. I'm still starting her up here. But since you're in the commander's seat, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and feel free to ask them while I start up the helicopter here.
Well, yeah, I was looking at the commander rendering, and they did an excellent job with you.
Why, thank you. Thank you very much. Are you looking forward to the BO-105? I mean, it's a lot more maneuverable than this thing.
I think I'm looking forward to anything you guys do.
Well, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Now, do you have any actual flight experience? Have you ever, taken a test flight in a real plane as far as, pilot school or anything like that?
No pilot school, but I have gotten an awesome ride in a helicopter up at the Deerfield Fair in New Hampshire, and that was an experience.
Very cool. Do you have any cool air shows up there in Boston during the summer?
No, I haven't seen any in the area recently.
Because around here there's a couple, but I have to kind of travel a little bit to get to them.
The one I remember most, and it's actually the one that convinced my wife to accept my flight sim hobby, was we went to one at Hanscom Air Force Base, and they had an F-15 demo. And the pilot came in low across the tarmac and then went to full afterburner. And I swear every organ in your body was vibrating.
Yeah.
She took one look at me and just shook her head up and down. You couldn't talk. It was deafening.
Yeah, those are cool times. Our carrier's on fire for some reason. Ah, there it goes. Goes up the fire. All right. So that's the Mistral carrier, by the way. Guess in case people watching didn't know. The other one's called an Enforcer. All right. Let's go to the target area. You can go ahead and turn on all your instruments over there.
Usually a little bit quicker than this. I actually did a timing of starting the helicopter and getting it ready to go without the mouse, and I can be fast with a little practice. It's amazing.
That's cool. It doesn't take a lot to turn her on, so yeah, it's definitely fairly cool.
Well, it's a pretty cool experience flying without having to control anything.
Right? Yeah. Of course, I have a lot more work, but you get the easy part. Let me just get up here and I'll go mask behind these trees right here.
It's better than a taxi.
Right? Yeah.
I gotta tell you, after watching that Firebirds video, I was a little intimidated.
It's all right. Okay, so go ahead and find a target here. Very good. Now, it's a little bit lower. Very nice. Very nice. All right, pick another target. Yep, yeah, just right there. Just a little to the left. Smidgen to the left. Perfect. But a little high. There you go. That should be good. Right there. A little low. Should be fine. Good kill, good kill. Alright, let's find something else to kill. Good job. Alright, you got one more. Make it count.
I'm using actually the little mouse cursor on the Warthog.
Oh, you know what I do? I use the front on the throttle, the right one, and I just use it up and down. And if I need to fine tune, I actually use the joystick. You can actually use the stick, because the stick will do it just as well. And the stick you can actually fine tune a little more. So it looks like you're perfectly on target right there. Just a little low, a smidge low. Looks like you missed it a little bit, but that's all right.
Yeah, I missed that one.
I'm taking off his slave mode here, and I'm taking it out of hover. Let's go take a look at what you did.
Sounds good.
Now, do you find that in the VR world, do you ever get motion sickness?
Actually, no, but I do enjoy the feeling of the losing your stomach.
Yeah, that definitely, I get that more in a helicopter than with the planes. Although in the planes, I do get that when I fly upside down. But yeah, in helicopters, I think just because the cockpit's a lot more open, you definitely get that motion feeling a lot more. I find that when I fly with the Oculus Rift, I fly with a fan blowing on me. That way, I kind of it helps with the motion sickness, because I do get motion sickness in cars fairly easily. So looks like you took out 3 nice targets here.
Yeah, I got 3.
Yep. 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I find VR makes me a better pilot by 60 or 70% because of the 3D perception. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. So let's go take a look at this other ship right here, the Informer. So speaking of DCS, which module are you looking forward to in the future?
It's got to be the F-18.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm all for that one. Yeah.
That and you guys next helicopter, really.
Now, if you can magically click your heels 3 times and have any aircraft appear in DCS, past or future, past, present, which would you choose?
Probably the Apache.
Okay, that's a pretty cool one. Yeah. I think
After flying Longbow all those years ago, I just fell in love.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a cool one. A cool helicopter, yeah.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, the other night after a flight in the Gazelle, I decided I'd go try one of the other helicopters and found out how much easier they are to fly after getting used to the Gazelle.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot of people say that.
Oh, now look how nice your approach is here.
Yeah. You know, I've flown it along. Well, wait till I land, first of all, before we say it. But yeah, I've flown her quite a bit longer, you know, than most people have. So, and you know, it's kind of nice that I have this experience with her. Whee. So,
even though it didn't look like my first attempt, I had this exact same landing about a half an hour before we connected as I was practicing.
Nice. Let's go see if we can get into the bay here. Hold on. What I had to do was I end up going in and turning around and getting out. So hold on.
That's a good trick.
And I actually took a picture while I was inside. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Well, okay.
I was just about to say excellent job.
Yeah, that ended kind of weird. So, but yeah, thank you for flying with me. It definitely was a lot of fun. You know, we'll definitely try to do more of these in the future with other people as well.
So, hey, I want to thank you an awful lot for this experience. It's been unbelievably fun, and we definitely should get together and do this again, and maybe see if we can get 3 or 4 people together and do some ship ops.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
No problem.